We're here today running an exercise on a major incident and running through the before, during and after phases and what to do.
So today, you are all on your first day of employment at Hotel Fawlty, Fareham. It's day one. And as a good employer, we're going to start the day by making you aware of some of the hazards, some of the things to be aware of when you're working in a hotel setting. Now, we do have some risk assessments, some partially completed risk assessments for you to take a look at.
Hey, there's a problem. I don't know what it is, but there's something going on. Please, we've got to get some help.
Emergency, emergency. There has been a serious incident. Please make your way calmly to the Hampshire room, where a lockdown will come into effect immediately.
It's okay, we're here now. It's okay, we're here now.
I don't know what's happened. I'm going to be sick. Oh, please. Oh, darling. I'm sick. I'm going to be sick.
It's okay. It's okay. We've got people here. It's okay.
Is she alive? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know what you're doing? Is she alive? Do you know what you're doing? I said, keep your focus and look over it. Look. I'm going to be sick.
So the exercise that we've just carried out demonstrates the need to have planning beforehand. Incidents, emergencies can be very, very confusing if you're not used to them, very bewildering, a lot going on. If you have a plan, at least you've got some framework to work around. If you haven't got a plan, then essentially you're going to be drifting in the wind. You try and make it up as you go along. The odds are you're going to forget things, you're going to get it wrong. It really isn't going to work. Planning is key.
So even though I'm trained to do all of that, I think it's taking away that I just need to stop and breathe. It's not wrong to breathe. You need to stop, look at what's going on, assess what's going on, and not just jump straight in, because then otherwise no one knows what's what.
It was actually very similar to real life, if I'm honest. Chaos consumes anyone that's not been around it a lot. So you had a whole bunch of flappy people trying to help, which is absolutely what would happen.
So what I really want people to take away from this is being more empowered, taking away knowledge because knowledge is power, and being more prepared in emergencies, because the worst thing is we all have the same kind of manifestation in our brain of flight, fight, or respond quickly in those types of event scenarios. And it's very difficult to do if you haven't practiced it. So I think the key thing is make sure you've got a sufficient risk assess plan in place, a lockdown achievement plan, and also evacuation protocol. And then you can actually align those processes really well together. So when you put something into practice, everything should fall into place quite nicely.
My biggest takeaway from today is that it's always important to try things out and experience them in context. So theoretically you can know this, that and the other, but it's not till you walk into a room and faced with a load of casualties that you start really thinking about what you have to do.
When I came in, what did I think? What am I going to do? Do I just jump in and do it, or do I wait for some instruction, as this is a training event? So no one told me to do anything, so I just thought I'd look around and see who was most injured and walk to them.
The sort of confusion at the beginning and how important it is to either have someone to take on that organiser role or to be that person. Going back to Turner Sims, which is the venue I work at, I think sort of deciding which of the team will take on that role.
So I think the telling feedback is even those that are first aid trained, when they actually were greeted with our victims, and the chaotic nature was how quickly it deteriorated and how ineffective it was once you take a trained person out of that scenario. And that's quite an easy thing to happen when you consider if you've got one first aider and they're the person that's a victim, you have no leader in that situation. So the chaos will reign supreme there.
Yeah, I think actually the biggest takeaway is the thing about critical bleed and how, I think it was like 2 or 3 minutes, because I was thinking Yeah, when we were asked the question, how long does it take for someone, to die of a critical bleed? And I was thinking, well, probably about 20 minutes. So yeah, that was a real eye-opener.
Really nice to see the businesses involved in the widespread of businesses and taking on board what we're trying to convey in our message of prepare, plan to prevent. Is something that can make a real difference in all walks of life regards safety.
It made me realise actually how valuable that first aid training that I have had, how valuable that was, and how much I remembered. I think if you sat me down, a few days previous, I probably wouldn't have remembered very much. But if put me in that scenario and I was able to recall it, so that showed, I think, the value of having the training in the first place.
What today has shown us is that you can never be fully prepared for a real live incident. But what it's also shown us is the importance of understanding what risks may exist, testing the control measures that you've identified, and crucially, putting those skills into practice.
If there's one thing I've learned today, it's that we need to do lots of training in-house.